Thank you for watching videos by FamilyTravelPhotos.com. So you're planning to visit the Grand Canyon. Do you want to see this? Or this? Do you want to travel around the Grand Canyon in a crowded shuttle bus? Or on empty roads in a private vehicle? Would you rather share the canyon with thousands of tourists? Or a herd of wild horses? Imagine reserving the Grand Canyon all to yourself to witness one of the Earth's greatest miracles exactly as it looked 1,000 years ago. How is this possible? With a private tour of the Grand Canyon's East Rim with Sacred Edge Tours. Most of the 6.25 million people who visited the Grand Canyon in 2017 went to the canyon's south rim. As grand as the Grand Canyon is, this massive volume of visitors means crowded viewpoints and shuttle buses, and lots of cars, roads, buildings, signs, all the modern trappings that detract from this amazing scenery. Until recently, the east rim of the canyon was largely inaccessible to tourists because it was on the Navajo Reservation. In the past few years, the Navajo Nation authorized Sacred Edge Tours to provide private guided tours to the east rim of the Grand Canyon. The east rim offers magnificent views that are completely unsullied by development or tourism. This is a relatively new opportunity for people visiting Arizona, and one you'll want to learn more about. On our recent trip to Arizona, we took a full-day excursion with Sacred Edge. Franklin, who owns Sacred Edge with his wife Anna, picked us up at our Airbnb house. We toured in a GMC Yukon loaded with coolers of drinks and snacks for the day. Franklin took us around to several vantage points around the East Rim, each offering amazing views of the canyon. For lunch, we sat in folded chairs and had a picnic alongside the Grand Canyon. The contrast between what we saw on our visit to the South Rim a few days earlier and what we experienced with Sacred Edge was night and day. There is no development to speak of. You are alone. From the time we entered the reservation until we left it, we didn't see another person the entire day. You'll see an occasional house off in the distance of the vast open landscape. There are no paved roads, only dirt tire tracks through the countryside. When you reach the canyon, there are no paved walkways, safety walls, guardrails, or signs. Only spectacular views of the Grand Canyon, untouched by human development, just as they have looked for thousands of years. The first stop was Anasazi Canyon.
Anasazi is how you say it in English, but in Navajo you say Anasazi.
You've seen the famous Horseshoe Bend Canyon. Anasazi Canyon is similar but larger than Horseshoe Bend. No crowds, no long hike to get there, no idiots hanging off cliffs to mug for pictures. It was silent, except for the wind. It was spectacular. We spent the rest of the day traveling to different vantage points, experiencing the canyon in all its splendor. Our day lasted 11 hours, and Franklin had even more places to take us if we'd wanted to go. We were extremely tired by the end of the day, but we marveled at the number of views we enjoyed and the countless photos we took. It was an amazing experience. If you're thinking of a tour with Sacred Edge, let me cover a few things you will want to know. I've made it clear there are no restaurants, visitor centers, gift shops, or toilet facilities. At one point, you'll have the opportunity to visit a tent in the middle of a field. Inside the tent is a freestanding camping toilet. To put it tactfully, I encourage you to plan ahead and purge your system before you start, if possible. For most of the day, you are far away from modern facilities. A little planning ahead will serve you well. As I said before, there are no real roads. At best, there are dirt trails through the open fields. At times, you are literally climbing over broken rocks, and this can be extremely bumpy. If you have back problems or any other health issues that could be affected by harsh driving conditions, keep this in mind. While the roads are extremely bumpy, people with physical limitations will appreciate the fact that you aren't required to walk very far. Franklin drives you within 30 feet of the edge of the canyon, making the day successful even for people with limited mobility. Finally, remember that the edge of the canyon is completely undeveloped. That's great for photographs, but you are responsible for your own safety. Nature does not put up safety barriers, warning signs, or fall protection. You can literally stand on the edge of a 1,000-foot drop at every stop you make, if that's what you want to do. Personally, I do not like heights, and I was able to stay far enough away from any edge to avoid discomfort while still enjoying the incredible views, so don't let something like acrophobia keep you from enjoying this tour. That said, you should consider if your children are mature enough to behave safely in these conditions before you take them. All that's to say, if you're up for the bumpy ride and lack of modern conveniences, a tour with Sacred Edge will provide you with a private viewing of some of nature's most magnificent landscapes. You can book your tour with Sacred Edge through their website. The link is in the description below. You can do a half-day or full-day tour. The full day is absolutely worth the relatively small price difference. Sacred Edge is a relatively new tour service and has not yet been discovered by many tourists in North America. As more people learn about it, I have no doubt it will become very popular. Like the Antelope Canyon tours, I expect the Sacred Edge service will reach the point where you must book months in advance. I have one more point to make about the Sacred Edge tour. If the amazing scenery was all we experienced, it would have been a wonderful day. The opportunity to photograph one of Earth's greatest wonders in its utterly natural state is an incredible experience. But we also came away from our tour with something we didn't expect. Our day with Franklin and Sacred Edge provided us with a remarkable insight into life on the Navajo Reservation. Franklin talked about his people's history, how they lived, their hardships and traditions. He talked about their spirituality and language. We visited his family's hogan, where he recalled spending time as a young boy with his grandparents. He shared recollections of his family members and their experiences. Each story was like a haiku, a snapshot of a small scene that painted a much larger portrait of their way of life. Franklin spoke not with pridefulness, but with a remarkable plain-spoken honesty as he shared his culture and himself over the course of the day. The truth is, I went on this tour to see and photograph something very important, the Grand Canyon, and I got to do that. But I finished the tour also having experienced something else that was also very important. That was my unexpected discovery at the Sacred Edge. I encourage you to discover it for yourself. Hey, I've got more videos planned from Arizona to feature Page, Sedona, Horseshoe Bend, Monument Valley, Canyon de Chelly. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of those. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button. Links to more travel videos are on screen now, but before you go, be sure to hit subscribe and visit FamilyTravelPhotos.com.